Guys, this will be my first video doing a little review on my setup, my Ishin Wizard X220, the goggles that I use. You gotta forgive me, this is my first time doing this on camera. I know the lighting in this room isn't all great. I'm just using my GoPro session to record this. So guys, please bear with me. I don't have one of those fancy DSLR cameras to do this review with. Just using my GoPros. That's all I use out when I'm out in the field. So please bear with me. First things first, I'll start out with talking about my quad. Now, me starting this hobby, I just started it in the later part of January. My wife got me one of the cheaper drones that you can buy from like Target 2 years ago from Christmas. So kind of got me into it. I really appreciate that from her. I love her to death. So thank you, babe. Thank you for fueling this addiction, I guess you guys can say. But yeah, I started flying later part January with the Wizard. I really enjoy that quad. It's been good going through the learning curve of learning FPV. Crashed it a ton of times. The only thing that I've actually broken other than props was that 90-degree antenna. That 90-degree antenna comes stock on the Wizard is terrible. If you guys have that quad, you understand where I'm coming from. I've snapped that thing off. Then I watched some videos on YouTube on how to solder, I guess, the SMA, the little connection to the end of it. I did that, flew around a few more flights, was happy with it. Didn't have too much interference. But then I went to the TBS Unify Pro from Rotor Riot. That's the VTX that I have in the quad right now. It's a decent piece of electronics. Haven't had any problems with it. So yeah. So going into the quad. So this is my Wizard. It's again, like I said, what I've upgraded. I did upgrade the VTX to the TBS Unify Pro, which is a pretty good VTX. I've also upgraded the FPV camera. I got rid of the stock FPV camera and ordered the Runcam Eagle, the CMOS 16:9 camera, which is pretty good. I like it. I ordered that camera to go along with my 16:9 aspect ratio goggles, which I'll talk a little bit more about those later. I did upgrade the lens with the GoPro 2.5mm lens. The field of view that this camera and that lens gives you is great. Like I said, I'm new to this, so still learning, but I really enjoy flying at that angle with that lens. I also upgraded these standoffs here. I ordered those online, 35mm standoffs. I like the red, got rid of that black, which looks pretty cool. The GoPro is mounted with a 3D printed mount that I ordered offline at 30 degrees, which I feel like that's a pretty good angle when you're flying. I also upgraded the motors. I went with the Mr. Steel motors from Rotor Riot. Smooth as silk, as they say. The Black Sheep Squad, the TBS. So I haven't flown them. I just installed them today. Guys, I just installed those motors today. Haven't flown around with them. I did a line of sight test out in the backyard just to make sure that the soldering was good. I didn't have any wires or any motors reversed. But it performed well. I haven't did a full FPV flight yet with them. I'll probably do that later this afternoon. But as of right now, the motors are okay. The stock Ishin motors that came on the quad, I didn't have a problem with them. But you know, once you get in this addiction, you start modifying things. You want to try something else. You want to try this or try that, and that's what I did. I've been watching Mr. Steel videos, the Rotor Riot videos, and that's what persuaded me to buy those motors. Was just saying that, hey, these guys are flying these guys around, let me try them out. So that's what I did. So again, with the quad itself, the motors, the Rotor Riot Mr. Steel motors, stock ESCs, still still running the stock ESCs. I'm still running the stock radio, the FlySky radio, which is I've never had a problem with signal strength. It hasn't flew away from me, so that's pretty good. Upgraded the camera to the Runcam Eagle, the 16:9, the CMOS version. I upgraded the VTX to the TBS Unify Pro, and I've upgraded the actual antenna to the TBS Triumph, which is pretty good. The batteries I use, the Adrenaline Thunder Power from Rotor Riot, the 1300 milliamp ADC, the 4-cell batteries. I really like these batteries. The punch that you get from these batteries on 4-cell is pretty good. I really like them. Don't have anything negative to say about the motors. Now, my FPV gear, I started out with the Eaton V800 goggles. Did fine, didn't have a problem with them. The picture quality, I think it has like a 7-inch monitor inside, so you're looking down into a 7-inch screen, which was fine. But of course, when you're in this hobby, you see other people's setups. You think about, well, man, maybe buying a different set of goggles will give me a better experience FPV. So that's what I did. I went out and bought the Fat Shark Dominator V3 goggles, and honestly, for the money that you pay for those goggles, I wasn't impressed. I was not impressed with the goggles. Those V800 Eaton goggles, I think you can buy them online for $55. The Dominator V3s, you look them up, get them $349.99, $350. And as a noob into this hobby, that's pretty pricey as far as just one part of the whole. So with my goggles, I wasn't really impressed. These are the Dominator V3s, Fat Shark Dominator V3s. I have a little wrap that I put on them. I thought that wrap looked pretty cool. But yeah, I wasn't impressed. I get blurriness in the corner of the screens. I did order the dipole lens, the -2s, in there right now to see if that would help with the blurriness. My eyesight is good. I don't wear glasses, contacts, so I think I have pretty good vision. But with these goggles, I wasn't impressed, guys. I mean, $350 for these guys. Not impressed. I used the Triumph antenna, and then this guy right here. As far as the dipole antenna, or whatever it's called. Gotta forgive me, guys. New to this, so yeah. Those Fat Shark. If you're new to this, don't go out, in my opinion, by spending $350, $400 for those Dominator goggles. I feel like that's all the cool kids wear those goggles. All the pros, or most of the pros, wear those guys. Mr. Steel, love watching his videos, the Rotor Riot videos. They have the Fat Shark goggles, the probably the upper model ones, but I wasn't impressed, guys. I'm not 100% sold on the Fat Shark. I just bought them just to see. I've only flew with them maybe 6 times, so probably still need to learn a little bit more about them. Get used to wearing them, but yeah, I'm not 100% impressed, guys. But yeah, that's my setup. Again, the Eaton Wizard X220 with the Adrenaline batteries, 4-cell batteries, the Fat Shark Dominator V3s, stock radio. I'm still rocking the stock radio. I don't have a problem with it. Again, like I said, I just started flying in January. Still learning the hobby. But yeah, again, like I said earlier in the video, it's my first time narrating, I guess, a review on YouTube. So guys, bear with me. Don't have a fancy DSLR camera, just using my GoPro session. The room that I'm in, I know the lighting's probably terrible, but first you got to start somewhere, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate any comments that you guys can give me on the video. on my setup, things that I may need to try to change, but I'm enjoying it. But yeah, guys, I'll give a little review of the motors later this afternoon, hopefully, and I'll see how I like them. Thank you, guys.